listening to Living with ADHD and CPTSD, available on Apple and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello everybody and welcome to another bonus episode of Living with ADHD and CPTSD. So today I'm going to discuss with everyone that being someone who suffers from CPTSD and deals with trauma and triggers on a regular basis, being in a relationship is a very stressful and difficult thing to do. You think to yourself when you're not very aware of who you really are, that you can do this relationship. And a lot of times, if you don't have a lot of experience with your parts and you are still in the beginning stages of learning your triggers and understanding how to heal from the CPTSD, you have this false idea and an unrealistic understanding and expectation of how a new relationship is going to go. Because we have dealt with a lot of mental and physical abuse and emotional abuse from our past that is chronic and turns into flashbacks, we often don't know what to expect. We are going to not realize that if we aren't at a healthy stage of our of our healing and dealing with the trauma, that there is a good chance that, one, we're going to meet somebody and be in a relationship with someone who is just like the people who did and gave us the abuse or treated us unfairly and caused our abuse, whether it was mentally or physically. There's a really good chance that we're going to repeatedly fall into that situation where our significant other, our partner, is going to be in that same way. They could be a narcissist, they could be a psychopath, they could be someone who's just very abusive. And we get into this trap and we get into this cycle where, because of our condition and because of where we're at with our trauma and our healing, is that we are not able to recognize it before it's too late. And we end up going through the whole abuse cycle again. And what it does is it continues to make the recovery process harder for us. It's easier for our parts and our trauma and triggers to reoccur because we just keep putting ourselves through this abuse. And eventually, if we continue to find new relationships and we continue to date people again and again, you go through the steps of letting go and ending the current relationship because you think it's abusive and it's damaging your healing abilities and making things worse for you. You get to the point where you don't know and you can't trust anybody that you're into. And the interesting thing, and we don't realize this until it's way too late, is we don't believe the reality. We don't see reality that in order for us to be happy and healthy in a relationship, we need to be at a state with our parts where we are healing, or at least be in a healthy spot where if we notice things are going wrong, or if we're in a situation where we're dating a person who is abusive and is a narcissist, and we're once again falling into this trap and this pattern that we've experienced numerous times before, we're less likely to repeat that. But at the same time, you need to, at some point, if you're going to make any progress and you're going to get better, is you need to admit to yourself that you're not in a good place, that you're not ready to be in a strong, healthy relationship for the sake of yourself and for the sake of the other person involved. Because there is a really strong chance that you will meet somebody who is a good person. They're mentally healthy. They're not a narcissist. They don't have any tendencies to be like that. They're emotionally healthy. They're supportive, and they're loving and caring, and they're also real and true, and they do want to be there for you, and they want to support you. But you've been through so much trauma and so much hardship, and you have such control and understanding of your trauma and your parts, that you're putting them through a lot of discomfort and a lot of pain, and you're hurting them as well as hurting yourself, because you're not able to trust them. Your system and your parts don't realize and don't see through you, the adult, that this person is a good person and does care about you and is not going to hurt you. They're not going to repeat that bad pattern that you've put yourself through of dating people who are abusive and neglect to care about you and don't care about your needs. If you're not healed and you're not in a good place in your life, and you're not in control of your CPTSD, there's a very strong chance that you're just going to keep repeating this pattern, and you're going to hurt someone who does care for you legitimately, and you're just going to continue hurting yourself. You're going to make yourself more and more damaged, and you're going to keep going backwards in your process and your steps towards healing. If you don't get the right help, like if the thing is if you're not seeing someone, like you're not seeing a psychiatrist, or you're not seeing a psychologist, and you're not getting the proper help that is required, you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing processing, you're not gaining the trust of your parts, and you're not healing the neurological damage that has been put upon you for over a lifetime of abuse and neglect, you're never going to be able to truly appreciate and be in a successful, loving relationship, because you're just going to keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. And you're like, you as the adult might think and feel ready, but if you haven't done enough healing and you've neglected to take care of your system and your parts, they're not going to trust you, and they're definitely not going to trust that person. It doesn't matter who they are or what intentions they have, even if they're good intentions, which is a good chance that they are good intentions for you. They're not going to trust them, and they're not going to trust you that you're making the right decision, and they're going to erupt and get triggered, and they're going to cause more conflict and more damage. And they're going to cause a lot of frustration and anger and hurt amongst both of you. So if you are not in a relationship right now, and you haven't done enough processing, and you haven't healed, or you're not in a stage where you feel that your parts can trust you and you're not safe, or they don't think you're safe, then you really should not be getting into a relationship. it's not something that is a good idea, because all you're going to end up doing, to be honest, and you've got to admit this and face the facts, face reality, you're just going to continue on a downward spiral. You're not going to make any progress. You're not going to get any better. All you're going to do is keep hurting yourself. And at the same time, you're going to hurt others. You're going to make them regret the decision of ever trying to be with you. All the effort and the time and the energy that they put into trying to make a relationship work is going to be futile, and it's just going to cause more damage. And the thing is you won't even realize it. You're going to be oblivious to a lot of it, because you're not going to be aware enough of what's going on. You're just going to continue to think that you're okay, that you're going to blame others, you're going to blame your partner, you're going to blame the past, you're going to make excuses, you're going to do anything, because one, your parts are getting triggered on a constant basis. They're always aggravated. They're always on high alert. And the second anything happens, even if it's an innocent thing, like your partner, you're in the living room together, or you're out on a date, and your partner is chatting and just happens to make a side comment, and it's a completely innocent remark. There's no ill intent. It's just an observation, and because your system and you as the adult are not on the same page, and you haven't done any healing, your parts, because they're children and because of their lack of understanding of how things work and how communication, and how sometimes a person that you're with can be attempting to make a joke, to be funny. They're flirting with you. They're giving you signs of interest. They're trying to make a connection with you. And because your system and your parts are children, and they don't know anything other than abuse and neglect and hurt and emotional pain, they're not going to be able to recognize that this is a good sign, that this is something inviting and heartwarming and a good feeling that a normal, healthy person would understand. They're going to likely take this as a form of neglect or an insult or hurt, or that they're being attacked. And then your parts are going to get triggered. And they're going to get on the defensive stage, and they're going to start attacking that person. And it's very likely that they're going to go, holy shit, what the fuck's going on here? All I did was make a little comment, or I was joking, or I'm flirting with you. I'm trying to connect with you, and you do this, and you say a childish, ridiculous thing like that. And they're most likely going to say enough. They're going to end the date early. They're going to want nothing to do with you, and it's not even their fault. And that's the thing. That's what a lot of us don't see. Our system, our parts, because they're not in tune with the adult, and we're not on the same page, and we haven't done a lot of healing. Our parts aren't going to be able to see the reality and understand the truth of what is going on. And your parts are going to destroy a lot of really good potential healthy relationships, whether it's with friends, whether it's a romantic, intimate relationship. It could even be work related. They're not going to understand, and they're not going to be able to know, due to their limitations and due to the trauma that they've experienced so many times. They're not going to have any idea as to what is really going on. The adult knows, but because he has no control over his system, he doesn't have the trust and the ability to be the leader and be the adult, the parent for these children, these child parts. you're going to be powerless. You're not going to be able to make the right choices. You're not going to be able to understand in the moment that this comment isn't harmful. It's not hurtful. It's not degrading. They're not trying to insult you. They're not trying to hurt you. They're just trying to have a good time, and they're trying to connect with you. They're trying to get to know you. And your parts are always getting in the way and always ruining potential new relationships of any kind. So in order for you to be able to make progress, you need to face reality. You need to face the facts. If you step back from being in a relationship and you take the time, and there's no determined length of time. I'm not saying that it's 3 months. I'm not saying it's 6 months. You need to be smart, and you need to step back, and you need to think, and you need to look at the reality of your situation. If you could admit to yourself that you're not healed, you are not on a healing process, and you're not going in the right direction, and that you do not have control of your system, your parts don't trust you, then you need to face the reality and admit to yourself that you're not ready to be in a relationship, that you need to take time for yourself. You need to step away. You need to do the work. You need to do processing. You need to see a therapist. You need to do whatever is recommended. And you need to do it on a regular basis. You need to get on that path of healing and being in control of what the reality is. You need to become the adult for your system, for your parts. They need to know that, and they need to learn that they can trust you, that you're going to make the right decisions, that you're going to keep everybody safe, that you're going to be the one in charge, that your needs are going to be met, that you're going to do what is right. But you can't get there if your parts don't trust you. If you're not working with your system, and you're not giving them signs and indications that you're on the right path and you're making progress and that you're moving onwards, it's very difficult, and it's nearly impossible for your system to really learn to trust the adult, that the adult's going to do the right thing. This is why triggers occur so often with people who are not healed, because they're out there and they're not admitting to themselves that there's still a lot of hurt and a lot of triggers going on, and that you're not okay. The adult doesn't admit that. They don't realize, and they can't see that they're getting triggered because their system and their parts don't trust you, that they see a dangerous situation, they see something that is potentially bad for you, that they're automatically just going to get triggered. They're going to come online, they're going to say childish things, they're going to get defensive, they're going to ruin potential, good relationships. Like, you don't want to put people who don't know what you're going through, like, you don't want to put them through hurt and pain, and you don't want to make them angry at you. It's not fair to them. Especially, it is definitely not fair to the person that you're with, or that you're trying to be on a date with, if you don't have control of your parts. If you don't have their trust and you're not healing, it may not happen the first date. It may not happen on the second date. It's possible that it could be down the road that something happens and it's a completely innocent thing, and all of a sudden you get triggered and you make a mistake and you ruin something that is special, and you end up hurting that person because you aren't in control of your parts and you're not healed. You need to step away. You need to do the work. You need to take time away from being in a relationship. You need time for yourself. You need to do what's best for you and your parts. You need to go and do the work. You need to process. You need to update your parts. You need to gain your parts' trust so that you can at some point go out and meet somebody and not be afraid that they're going to trigger you, or not have that fear that this person might hurt you like everybody else. You need to have healing, and you need to have you need to be in a place that you feel safe and that your system feels safe and trusts you at the same time. Don't put someone through pain and suffering and hurt because you aren't healed and you are not in control of your parts. If you get triggered by something, by anything, and it's not their fault, and they're an innocent person who doesn't understand, you're just hurting another person, and then you're making it worse for yourself. You're not getting anywhere, and you're actually taking a step backwards. You need to find the strength inside you to say to yourself, this isn't right. I need to do what is best for me. I need to heal. I need to do the work. I need to take time and find the answers for myself. If you can do that, and you can do the work, and you can take your time and make progress and be real with yourself, be honest. Don't pretend. Don't try to work around it. Don't try to fool yourself or trick yourself into getting into something that isn't going to work. It's only going to make things worse for you. Do what's best for you. Be honest with yourself. Be real. Trust the system and trust the work. It will do a great deal of good for you, and it'll benefit you in the long run. And then when you are ready for a relationship, you're going to be happy, and you're going to feel what a relationship really is like, and you're not going to have to think about and worry about your trauma and your triggers, because you're going to be in control, and you're going to have your parts trusting you, and you're going to feel safe, and you're going to feel grounded, and you have such a great, much better chance of having a successful relationship. And then who knows, right? But you have to be at the right point in your life in order to achieve that. If you aren't, you're just going to keep failing, and you're going to go into a spiral, and you're going to go into the same circle over and over. And it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. All right, that's it for this bonus episode. Thanks for listening. If you want to contact me, you can. Twitter is at ADHD and CPTSD. You can email me, livingwithADHD and CPTSD at gmail.com. You can donate. You can tip me. If you know anybody who would benefit these bonus podcasts, let them know. Have them subscribe to the podcast for free access to all the bonus material and early access to new podcasts. All right. Talk to you later. Bye, everyone.